Mistakes were made. Fucking crabs, man. Alt title: Do not mistake humanity's lack of FTL and energy weapons for weakness. Written by Zealous Ideal Sir 264. The general stood there in that strange hallway, brightly lit, the light seemingly emanating from nowhere, the carpet yellow and moist, moldy smelling. There was what humans would call a floral pattern halfway up the wall. This was not where he expected to be. He was shocked to see that none of the refugees were anywhere. In fact, there wasn't much of fucking anything, just an expanse of hallways as far as he can see. Something moving in the distance, something far off, something huge. General Gav couldn't tell if it was more of a canine or a spider, but it was in a full run after him. How far away was it? How big is this bastard? Where the fuck am I? He knew it would eventually catch up to him. After what he'd seen today, he was getting off easily, no matter what the dog thing would do to him. He had faced the unending clone hordes of the Yavik, killed 33 Dref gorillas with a knife, personally witnessed the acid attacks of the demopods in the wastelands of the Hellworld, Jarek 17. This was the first time he had ever pissed himself. Before his brain kicked his flight response, he thought back to what led him to this moment. He was almost king of the universe, but only for a second, and only in his own mind. Now he was going to become eviscerated by a spider dog in a giant, moldy office building in Satan's Balls, Nebraska. Where the fuck is Nebraska? They had chanced upon the planet of Earth pretty much by accident. It was in a remote arm of the galaxy. Very quiet, no FTL signatures. Just some mild nuclear radiation and the typical radio waves of a civilization that might have been 2 or 3 centuries past an industrial revolution. They saw no evidence of pollution or CFCs or decay in the magnetic field, so either they had been clean the entire time, or they quickly figured out how to clean it up. The only reason they had come out this far in the first place was because of a gang of pirates that they had captured and tortured. In a feeble attempt to save their lives, they spilled the guts on an ancient records drive that claimed the Rocky, a civilization from billions of years ago, that there was no evidence for, whom were rumored to have mastered time manipulation, had once set up a colony on the 4th planet of this forgotten system. The general figured that if they had, the technology might still be there, or there might at least be a lead towards whatever dead planet it currently resided on. With this technology, he could destroy the planetary alliance that held back his people, Drexians if it matters. Colonization was a pain in the tukas, what with all the bureaucracy attached. They saw the blue bullshit planet first, a pretty thing, rich in water, an abundance of nitrogen, insane amount of biomass, more life than most planets with so little land. The gravity sucked. But whatevs, he thought. Maybe they'd take that too after all. He was going to own the galaxy in a day or two. First they landed on the red one. It was dead, desolate. There probably was water at one point, might still have been somewhere. They scanned it for weeks, avoiding calls from mission control the entire time, or answering and just making up shit. They really weren't supposed to be here. They were supposed to be monitoring a Type 2 crab civilization 2 star systems away. They never even went there, didn't even know what it looked like. General Gav prayed to the great mantis that his superiors didn't know either, hoped they'd buy his cockamamie story long enough for him to find the time core, time drive, temporal stuffs thingy. Nothing. No buildings, no roads. Billions of years would do that. Fuck. Just a half-finished base. Wasn't rocky. Probably the monkeys on the blue planet started building it, and then yada yada, wars and shit never went interstellar. Fuck. Now what? Likely a court-martial. No time to dig either. Blue planet, though. Maybe they could sell it. Get rid of the inhabitants before the Alliance knew of their existence. Ditch and or eat the bodies. Then acquire the thing, sell it to a hoarder race, and haul ass back to Crab World and fake a month's worth of reports. Wouldn't be too hard. Crab planets were all the same. They were all fucking crab planets. The galaxy had crabs. Everything is crabs, is what I'm saying. They mobbed back to the third planet after checking the base. What was there was empty. Nothing. No books, no records terminals. Just a thumb drive taped to the floor. Gav had one of the dope heads in the engineering room ghetto rig a connection to its simple 3-point electrical port. Still using electricity, it seemed. Shouldn't take more than a few hours to destroy them. There was nothing on it but an audio file and a picture of a feline captioned, "You Can't Has Planet," and apparently a worm, pretty well hidden actually, invaded their systems immediately. Fuck, they knew we'd arrive eventually, he thought. No, maybe, I don't know. All it did was invade a few of their files so it could translate the audio into their language. How nice of them. They listened on the way after scratching their heads at the cat meme. Greetings, we are humans of Earth. What you found was going to eventually become a new settlement on Mars, our fourth planet. We had nigh destroyed ours, world wars and burning things for power, and then the freaky fungal zombie outbreak. Man, did that suck. We were overpopulated and diseased. Then we found a new science. Decided space travel was stupid. Found multiple places to live and a way to travel without starships. So fuck that, we said. Also figured out fusion too. Not that we even really need that anymore. I mean, just plug an extension cord into an outlet in the back rooms and pass it through to your house and bazinga, free power. So anywho, if y'all are cool, if y'all are some kind of federation of planets looking for a new member, stop by. It's the one with water. Can't miss it. If you get to the one with rings, you've fucked off and gone too far. But if y'all are hostile, sucks to be you. Cute. No starships? Did they have portal tech? Impossible. You'd still need a ship to set up the other side. Huh. Fuck 'em. Let's go blow them up. They tried anyway. Destroyed all their satellites the second they got there. Well, they should have dicked around on their internet for more than a minute. Might have come in handy later. Guess they didn't know they would need a MacGuffin. They were in the process of moving the troops to the dropships when they were hailed. General, they've sent a message. In text form. In their language. The worm in the thumb drive translated it for us, however. All it says is, assholes, you fucked up. General Gav scoffed, as misinformed generals in these scenarios are wont to do, and ordered 1,000 troops per ship, 1,000 ships, to 1,000 of the largest cities. Start at the capitals. There were 3 major factions on this planet. One was known as the New Soviet Union, sharing a landmass with another faction, the China-Euro Union. The other side of the planet was occupied by what was known as the American states of Vinland. A fourth continent, Africa, seemed to be composed of smaller countries. It was mostly wilderness, save for utterly massive megacities. The first attack was to be in Moscow. That faction seemed to have the largest population. That was until censors noticed that the human population dropped instantly from over 4 billion to 999 individuals. The comm officer suggested that they might have used their alleged portal tech and moved everyone off planet. Maybe we should try to find the source of said portals and shut them down? I don't think any of their supposed colony planets are anywhere in Alliance territory. They'd be stuck there, and this planet is pretty much ours now. We only have to hunt down 999 of them. Solid plan, Nick, said the general. I might be saluting you someday. Commence the Moscow invasion. Put it on screen. This should be fun. The feed showed the port-side door opening, hundreds of soldiers pouring out. Most were Drexian, typical reptilian warrior race. Some were slaves, most of them felines. Others were various scattered races, mostly conscripts from conquered planets and the occasional mercenary. Standing in front of what was assumed to be the Capitol building was a lone human. At least they assumed it was human. It was wearing a cloak and was hooded but had the average height for its race. Seemed bipedal and had 2 arms. They were raised skyward. Suddenly the ground below the soldiers glowed red. At first it was strange, Then pretty much all at once they noticed the temperature was rising steadily. Skin started melting. All 1,000 soldiers were now aflame, screaming in agony. It was over in seconds, piles of bone and ash. The dropship itself a slowly hardening puddle of titanium and plastics. The lone hooded figure jumped and clapped, then held out one arm with 2 fingers in a V configuration. Then it simply walked right into a wall and disappeared. "What the fuck was that?" exclaimed General Gav. "Readings?" A nameless clone piped in. "Sir, I'm seeing nothing. No radiation. The extreme heat was localized. It didn't even change by a fraction of a degree, a basic unit away from the attack. Doesn't appear to be plasma-based either. Whatever did this, the technology is unknown to us." Gav didn't have time to react. The feed switched to Beijing. Another cloaked human just standing there. Soldiers flooded the massive street ahead of it, rifles aimed. This one extended its right arm out in front of it, the longest 2 fingers out of a fist. It then dragged these 2 fingers across its chest. The symbology. Who the fuck knows? I'm just a history drone, man. Fuck. Escaping the aliens. All of the shadows in the street started snaking towards the soldiers. They began taking random forms, some recognizable, some not. The troops were being torn limb from limb, their unorganized gunfire having no effect. Snakes, humanoids, crabs. A lot were crabs. Some were more like canines, and a few were bipedal deer. Thousands of black, random, shadowy figures were eviscerating the soldiers. Blood in all colors poured down the rain gutters. After less than a minute, there was nothing but a pile of gore. The human made the same gesture as the last and dropped through the ground. It was the same everywhere. In Sao Paulo, they all simply exploded. DC, a singular void opened into the ground. 1,000 tentacles dragged all of the soldiers to an implied doom. In London, there was no human. A gigantic flock of black birds descended and tore the troops to bits. In Johannesburg, a fissure opened up, dropping everyone and the ship, which apparently had no power, to a fiery doom. In Tokyo, the human pulled out a sword, pointed it and her other arm behind her, and began running towards the soldiers. They opened fire, it doing nothing. Every kinetic bullet or plasma round landing on a purple disc that would appear mere inches in front of her. Her katana glowed the same purple as it sliced through every soldier. It was an absolute bloodbath. Nothing they tried worked. Melee attacks were equally ineffective. You just couldn't touch her. She then climbed off of the pile of bodies, casually walked to an Evo 7 and drove off. It should be noted that she wasn't a Japanese citizen, rather a weeb living in Tokyo who somehow ended up with abilities befitting a character in her favorite anime series, something she wasted 0 time exploiting. One dropship had a crew privy to the plight of the others. The captain said, "Fuck this," and took off, never unloading his men. The ship was swallowed by a dragon that appeared from nowhere. General Gav stood in awe. Every person he sent to the planet was dead. 10,000 soldiers were killed by 999 humans. He was about to issue orders to get the hell out of Dodge when the red warning lights came on. Apparently, the worm in the thumb drive had killed power to the engines. And also something else. "Sir, we are being boarded." Reports from over the ship stated that cloaked figures just walked out of walls and started killing the crew. People were dropping left and right. No retaliatory attacks would connect. It was the same above as below, and then a polite knock at the door to the bridge. "Hey guys, we are coming in, okay? Hope you got your pants on." The purple katana carved a triangle-shaped hole in the door. The human was now unhooded, her face painted white, her eye sockets black, with an upside-down cross on her forehead. She smiled. "You must be the captain! Yay!" pointing at General Gav. She then slaughtered everyone in the room but him. She really seemed to enjoy it, too. He was frozen, could not move, had never faced fear like this. She grabbed him by the hand and then walked through a wall, dragging him with her, appearing in the back rooms. She said, "Peace, bitch," and ran away. He stood there facing the spider hound and pissed himself. A man in a blue suit walked out from an adjoining hallway and pointed his palm at the creature. It sat down and began panting. "Greetings, asshole," said the man. "I am President Jenkins of Earth. Well, Vinland. I'm the President of the United American States of Vinland, and I'm here on my own accord. I ordered Kamiko to leave you alive. Follow me." They walked in silence for what seemed like hours, until they reached an open room with 2 old green couches, a nondescript door, and a vending machine. "Almond water?" the president offered. "I always forget to bring a Coke or 2 with me. This is pretty much all there is to drink here." General Gav finally spoke up, sitting down opposite the president. "No, I'm fine. Why am I alive, and what is this place?" "Well, Captain." General Gav of the 5th Fleet of—" "Oh, well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants," said the president. "I just wanted to see our enemy firsthand. Maybe toy with you for a minute before you meet your demise. Anywho, I'll allow you to ask a few questions." Gav had many. Decided he wouldn't have time to get answers to all of them. He went back to his first question. "Oh, this?" answered Jenkins. "This is the back rooms. They are basically a loading screen between realities. We've populated some of it. It's seemingly endless. Of course, this is just level 0. Rough place to live, I'd say. Days of wandering only to get killed by things. How did we get here? How did a pre-fusion society design single-sided portal tech?" Gav asked. "Oh, well, to explain that, I'll have to go back. Do you have time?" the president exclaimed, followed by a laugh that ended in a coughing fit. He took a sip of the almond water and crossed one leg over the other in a relaxing pose. "We actually had a pretty bitchin' ion drive setup. We figured it out fast. Reverse-engineered something called the Philadelphia experiment. Ironically designed it during World War II, actually figured it out during World War III. We went from solid rockets to interstellar travel in a month, could get to Mars in less than a day, but then that bastard meteor hit. Landed in the middle of the Sahara. The fallout sucked, but nothing like what our popular culture would suggest. Then it opened. It released billions of spores. Long story short, they infected us, made us into zombies. It was looking pretty bleak until a Moroccan strike team infiltrated the meteor and found the supercomputer. The second they removed it from its power source, all the zombies dropped. Turned out the fungal infection was a mix of biological and nanite components. The computer was much the same. An advanced AI composed of fungal and synthetic neurons, operating in a capacity beyond any quantum device we were capable of designing. Of course, we wired it to an interface we could control. It fought us at first, but our best hackers forced it into submission. We made sure that its internet connection was one-way only. We just survived a zombie apocalypse. A robot uprising would have devastated us. A year after it was operational, we asked it to design an FTL drive. Instead, it showed us how to open portals. You see, the universe isn't real. It exists inside of a much more complicated yet similar device. So it turned out that magic was real. Gav scoffed once more, then mentally recanted it. Why not, he thought. After what he'd seen today, it was certainly the simple explanation. Also, he was likely to be eviscerated by crabs or some shit any minute, like any of this mattered. Eventually, we began exploring the back rooms, as most of those portals lead there. From there, we found multiple planets. Some of the doors lead to other worlds consistently. Even the bizarre planet of Prax 17, the only planet in your alliance we really venture, we can blend in there and we do a lot of trade. The Slad really seem to like the liquid pain. Almond water is pretty popular with medicinal cultures. There's a seemingly endless supply of those here. We've never been able to figure out who manufactures or restocks it. Most humans ended up implanting spell drives onto their spinal cords. First in a van in an alley somewhere, Eventually, the governments offered a cleaner version, basically eliminated the military budget and willingly conscripted the entire populace. The general raised his right eyebrow. President Jenkins thought of how human it looked. Spell drive? Well, basically a chip that not only allows portals to be opened, but seems to unlock random abilities in the user. Abilities like, "Melting my fucking troops into a puddle of ichor," screamed the general. "Drag them into a hellish void, summon an uncountable horde of winged avian monsters." "Yes, well, no," chimed President Jenkins. "Most of those were us. The flames, the swordsmanship, the dragon. The birds weren't. Crows and ravens are sentient. We never knew how much until we began to fuck our planet up. Seems they put up with our bullshit for eons because of free bread. Eventually they all settled in London and killed everyone remaining. We don't go there. Nothing does. We really don't know what they eat these days. We leave them alone out of fear and respect. If our hubris gets the best of us again, it will certainly become their planet. Anywho, I must be going. You are free to go. You might find a door that leads somewhere useful. Feel free to back up the message we already sent your phony baloney king. Oh yes, about that. We've repurposed your ship. It has been transported to the void. We will be using it for exploration there. We need to figure out where the fuck Australia went." The president then walked to the door and flashed a key card. The door opened, leading towards an office adorned with flags. He looked back and exclaimed, "Toodles, cunt," before shutting it. Gav sat there for minutes, unsure of what to do next. His communicator had no signal. He actually began to doze off. He was thrust back into awakeness by a snarling in the distance. Looking down a hallway, he saw the spider dog. Down another, 5 or so humans without faces. They were somehow laughing at him. Down a third hallway, thousands of giant crabs packed to the ceiling, slowly ambling towards him. He ran for the door and opened it, facing an unending void. He had to decide. Face the monster, face the humans, or face the abyss. No way was he going with the fucking crabs. Even considering the current situation, the irony of that was pretty funny to him. He was about to jump when he looked down at a single raven standing on nothing. It was smiling. At him.